Good afternoon and welcome to the 29th annual Middletown Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. My name is Scott Massey. I am honored to be the voice and public address announcer for so many of the great Middletown sporting events. For those of you that are new to this event and were expecting a celebrity or a television personality, you got me. But remember, there's three reasons why I'm here. One is I do have a deep and personal connection to many Middletown sporting events that I'm truly honored to be a part of. When Phil Cacciola and Dave Galito called a lot of guys to come today, I was the only guy that really showed up. And they believed that I was the only one that had the best chance of pronouncing the Italian names today. But I'm honored to be here, but today is really all about celebrating the 13 individuals and 2 team inductees in today's hall. At this time, I'd like you to ask to stand and welcome from the Cross Street AME Zion Church here in Middletown, the Reverend William D. Wilson, who will lead us in today's invocation. Reverend Wilson.
Good evening, everyone. Such a beautiful occasion that the Lord has blessed us to be here. This afternoon, would you join me in prayer as we ask, by way of our various faith traditions, each of us praying in our own faith tradition, as we ask the Spirit of God and His presence, as well as His blessings, to be upon this occasion. Almighty God, source of our being, the God of our life, we thank you for this journey this afternoon. We thank you for this very special occasion. Thank you for all of the inductees, the athletes and their achievements and their accomplishments, their personal sacrifices and dedication to their various sports. We thank you for this gathering, for the spirit of sportsmanship and competition, and perseverance, and all of the things that shape our lives and help us to build character and enriches our lives as well. Thank you for the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame, the board of directors, the donors, the sponsors of this event. Thank you for the staff and everyone who are serving us this afternoon as well. And we thank you for the gathering of family and friends, our supporters, as well as our teammates, and for all that you continue to do in our lives. We thank you also for our coaches, our mentors, and everyone that have influenced and have impacted all of our lives, and especially the honorees tonight, this afternoon. And now, Lord, we ask you to bless this food that has been prepared, that it might nourish and strengthen our bodies, and that we remain ever more faithful and dedicated in our service and our witness unto you. This we ask in your name. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Wilson. And friends, I ask that you please remain standing. You don't have to go to the gym today. Please remain standing as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. The anthem performed today, please welcome Miss Karen Marshall.
What'd you expect, Karen?
Oh, say, can you see, sorry, by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, those bombs bursting in air,
Please be seated. My friends, at this time, please welcome a true friend and dedicated supporter of sports here in the city of Middletown, the president of the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame, Mr. Dave Galito.
Thank you, Scott. Hey, Karen, great job. It's good to have a community around you, isn't it? There you go. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 29th Annual Middletown Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. My name is David Galito, and I am the current president. We at the Hall of Fame understand that today is all about family, friends, and memories. So we will endeavor to move the program along so you can share and spend this time with one another. Each year, we not only induct individuals into the hall, but two teams as well. This year is no exception, as we are honoring two teams for their outstanding accomplishments, one in track and field, and the other for their exploits on the basketball court. Each member of the team will be receiving a certificate of recognition from the hall to memorialize their team's induction. So let's get the program started in welcoming and honoring members of the 1998, 1999, and 2000 state champion track and field teams from Middletown High School. Gentlemen, we have Richard Rosick and Dean Wilborn. They are coaches in the track team from Middletown High School that we're honoring as inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame. That was the years of 1998, 99, and 2000, where you won state championships 3 years in a row. Share a little bit of the story of that year, of those years, Rich, if you could.
Sure. First of all, you got to have athletes, and we were fortunate enough to find athletes. I know John School and I, we would, during lunch, we would go up to tables, come on out, go out for track and field, do something, because one thing about track and field, you got sprinters, you got jumpers, you got distance runners, you got throwers. There's something there for everybody. And no matter which other sport you play, you can always use track as a crossover. As far as conditioning, we used to tell the kids, come out for a track to get in the best possible shape as possible. And besides having good athletes, you got to have good people helping you. And I got the best right here.
Thanks, Coach.
And that means a lot. You got to surround yourself with good people. And I was very fortunate to have that. And every day, it was a joy going to work. We both loved what we were doing. And each day, every kid would have a different button to push. So, you didn't know what to expect.
Right.
But I tell you what, besides having good athletes, we had average athletes that were tough kids.
Very tough.
They were tough.
Dean, speak to that. Speak a little bit about, your experiences with Coach Rosick and the kids that you coach as well too, and the buttons that you had to push.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, everyone fed off a coach because he's a tough one himself.
Yeah.
And then having a tough coach, it kind of rubbed off on the players, or the athletes. And we had just the kids that just came to practice every day. They worked hard, they competed, and they accept challenges. And some days there were days where, coach would ask a kid to do a certain event that he didn't want to do, but it was for the betterment of the team. And with that being said, you could just see how the dominoes fell in place. 3 years in a row. You know, and everything's set in stone.
Yeah, you're right. So, it isn't too often that you have a track team that, or any team for that matter, that win back-to-back-to-back championships. And I think that's pretty special. But Rich, was there a moment over your coaching career with Middletown High School track that you could share as a special moment? And I'll ask the same of you too as well, Dean, but is there something that you could share with us?
Well, winning the first state championship with the Middletown Blue Dragons was special. It was a big surprise, but we knew we had a chance because we had scorers that were throwing events, javelin throwers, discus, jumpers. We had a little bit of everything, and that really came together. We won the first event, we won the second event, I remember, and then after that, it just caught on fire, and kids just had their PBs, and probably the most satisfying one was one of 2000, because we didn't expect to win.
Yeah.
We just had two good classes in a row. The third one, we had a good bunch of kids, but they weren't as talented as some of the other teams. But they stuck together, and we had kids that were, like I always say, give me an average kid that works hard, that were able to score points. It was like in a javelin throw, we had 5 kids who scored, which is amazing.
Right.
But it was just their hard work, their determination, and the love, and they began to love track and field. At first it was like, I don't know if I want, I'm not fast enough, I'm not strong enough, but there's something there for everybody.
Right. Would you agree with that, Dean? It's, I know Coach mentioned the 2000 team, but you coach for much more than that. Was there any special moment over your coaching career, especially any one of those years that you won the state championship that stood out to you?
Honestly, I would say it was the 2000. As Coach said, previously, was we weren't expected to do it. And once again, it all came back to having tough kids. Kids who wanted to be there, kids who accept challenges, and kids who found a way.
Isn't that the best thing as a coach, right? Is to take that unexpected team or those average players and you draw the best out of them. And that's a true testament to the both of you and thereby having the accomplishments that you did, especially those 3 years. So congratulations to both of you on your team's induction into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame.
And before I go, I just got to say one special thing. It was at the end of states, we happened to win the 4x400. We had set a state record in a 4x1, the 4x8, and the 4x4. But it was the 4x4 team that were able to go up to New England Championships. Okay, and we were up in
Brown University.
At Brown University, and we were fortunate enough to win the race, and it was a great day.
It's a great ending to that.
To the season.
Yes.
Right?
It was a great cap for the season.
And was that 2000 as well too?
Yes, that was 2000.
Isn't it something? So much came out of that 2000 team, which was unexpected to begin with, right?
Right, and a lot of those kids started off as sophomores, so they were seasoned. They knew what it would take to be a state champion.
Yeah, they learned. So you capped off the year not only with a state championship, but you won New England too with your 4x4, huh?
Yes.
That's quite a year.
Yeah.
But, congratulations to both
Well, thank
of you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it was an honor.
Appreciate you.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are the members of the team that could make it this afternoon. Unfortunately, the head coach, Coach Rich Rozak, a Hall of Famer in his own right, was unable to make it, but we have Coach Dean Wilborn, his assistant, here to fill in. And what we're going to do, I'm just going to ask each team member to say who they are, and then you guys just head down to the end of the table and you line up in front of the dais. I am Cassius Bird. Jackson, Mario Wiggins,
Right down in front of the
Eric
record.
Holly, Ashante Sturge, Alonzo Martin, Jason Coleman, Judy Wilborn,
Hey, Cohen, congratulations.
Lorenzo Archie Jr.
Gentlemen, remain standing as I call on Deb Petrozello to share some highlights on this team. Deb?
Okay, here's the Middletown High School track and field teams from 98, 99, and 2000. The run of championships for the Blue Dragon track teams, headed by Coach Rozak and assistant coach Wilborn, was for a 3-year reign, 98, 99, and 2000. Amazing. The pair of coaches, coaching together for 10 years, needed athletes and decided to look at football than other sport athletes. They used track and field as crossover training for winter and spring sports. These athletes stayed together for 4 years, working hard and buying into the coach's philosophies. By the group's junior year, they were ready. 1998, championship #1, an undefeated season. The Blue Dragons won the first event, then the second, and then things snowballed. More and more points, more and more victories. Coach Rozak said that the first championship was the most memorable. Senior year, 1999, for the major core of the group, championship #2, and another undefeated season. That was no surprise after looking at the listed Middletown track and field records. 6 records made in 1999 are still standing. The 400 meters, Greg White. 1,600 meters, Jack Soares. Jack, please man. High jump, Cassius Bird. Who's here today. Javelin, Andre Wormsley. 4x4 relay, Nick Tucci, Colin Gilmartin, Jason Coleman, and Greg White. And lastly, 4x8 relay, Tucci, Gilmartin, Soares, and Dave Osborne. Coach Wilborn said the team was so strong athletes could strategically be moved around to win meets. Wow. Now, year 2000, which was an unexpected win. The core of the past 2 years had graduated. This one was the most rewarding because the boys stuck together, improved daily, and fought to win. They had seen the results of hard work and had seen excellence from what these guys had done. And what was needed, what skills were needed to win what it looked like. The boys were ready to perform and did it. There were countless New England state and conference champions during those 3 years and incredible performances. If you have a chance, talk to any of the team members. They have stories to tell. So today, we welcome Middletown High School track and field teams of 98, 99, and 2000 to the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame. You may be seated. Gentlemen. Oh, sorry, I got excited.
Let me introduce the other team. That's all right. That's all right. The second team we are honoring this year is a women's semi-pro basketball team by the name of Jack Lunch Speed Girls that competed in top form from 1933 through 1937. We do not have any members of the team here with us today, but nonetheless, their recognition is definitely warranted. And I'll call on Deb to share some highlights on this team. Deb?
First of all, I'm kind of jealous because I did not have the opportunity to be in sports that these young ladies had. And now for a little history. The Speed Girls was a team of local basketball players put together by the owner of Jack's Lunch, Jack Fitzgerald. The reason? Jack wanted to give the fans 2 games a night. So the Lady Ballers would play before the men's team, which were called the Speed Boys. Well, the Speed Girls soon attracted a bigger crowd than the men's team. Can I hear whoop, 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 whoop? Enjoying top billing and selling out their home games in the Armory. Those who remember the Armory? Yeah, raise your hand. Yep. The team played for 4 years before disbanding, playing the best female teams all over the country, putting Middletown, Connecticut on the map, the sports map. Year 1, they went 29-1. Who did they lose to? Year 2, they went 32-1. Coached by Clarence McCabe, the team practiced against men to hone their skills. And you thought the Yukon girls were the only ones first to have male players practice against them? Captain Skeets Gajewski, who played 3 seasons with the Speed Girls, was voted by the sports writers of Connecticut as one of the best guards in Connecticut. The captain was recognized by the Connecticut Women's Basketball Hall of Fame as the recipient of the 2013 Connecticut Basketball Pioneer Award. Other members of the 34-35 team included Kay Baldwin, M. Higgins, H. Scranton, B. White, Lyndon Bell, Babe Carlson, Bernice Albrecht, Emma Anderson. With immense pride, the Speed Girls are now members of the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame. All right, we introduced the teams. Now let's introduce the individual inductees we are honoring today. Tony Bostic. Yeah. The team members will be coming around the table. Ashley Etheridge. Tony Franco. Our own David Galito. Jeff Gould. John Greco.
Another big applause for Mr. Greco. He's done so much for Middletown athletics.
He's at the end of the table.
John Hastings. Whitney Holder. Megan Nelson Keene. Lorenzo T. Marshall Jr. Jeff Otterbein. And last but not least, Sean Smith. We are also introducing one athlete posthumously this year, John Waz.
Thank you, Deb. Please welcome back to the podium a true friend of Middletown, Mr. Dave Galito.
Thank you, Scott. Everyone can be seated. How about another round of applause for all of these inductees and teams? At this time, I would ask for a moment of silence for a member of our Hall of Fame family who has passed since last year's ceremony. In particular, Mr. Leo Bravakis. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. In addition to Deb Petrozello, our Executive Secretary and Treasurer, I would like to introduce the other members of the head table who will be taking part in today's ceremony. The mayor of this fine city, Mr. Benjamin Florsheim. And he's already introduced himself, but I'm going to do it anyway. Our Master of Ceremonies, Scott Massey. Along with individual recognition, each inductee will receive a Hall of Fame plaque as well as a proclamation from the City of Middletown. And to that end, I would like to thank Mayor Ben and Mark Levine from Maliv's Jewelers for their committed assistance each and every year. A round of applause. Each inductee and both teams will be memorialized on a larger plaque that will sit in the Hall of Fame at 58 Bernie O'Rourke Drive. You also have in front of you a mug, and inside that mug you will find a Hall of Fame pin for your lapel. And finally, to remember this day, each individual inductee will receive a video CD of today's ceremony produced by Tom Hickman of Hickman Video Productions. Thank you, Tom. I'd like to introduce and acknowledge members of the Board of Directors, for without their time and effort, this ceremony would not happen. As I mention your name, please stand and remain standing until the entire board is introduced. Paul Ajeri. Where's Paul? He's here somewhere. There he is. John Biddiscombe. Phil Cacciola. David Darling, one of our past presidents. Tony Jascott. Lorenzo Marshall. Larry McHugh. Michael Morello, who cannot be here with us today. Yep. Teresa Opalatz, our Vice President. Jason Serra. Peter Sipples, who cannot be here with us. And Mr. Ed Wilcox. Thank you all. Thank you. In addition to our board of directors, I would like to acknowledge and thank the following individuals for helping to make this event run so smoothly. In particular, Marie Cacciola, Deb Vanalik, Jim and Sherry Condon, and Marianne Serra. And Marianne not only helps us today and throughout the year, she is in charge of coordinating the selection of student athletes from all of our Middletown schools that receive the Thomas J. Serra Student Athlete Award. Each student is recognized at their respective school's award ceremony and is given a plaque from the Hall of Fame along with a monetary grant in the amount of $300. And a huge thank you to Danielle Aletta and Joanna Bond from the Middlesex County Chamber of Commerce for organizing all of the reservations and seating for this event. Thank you so very much. I would also like to thank board member Paula Jerry for his help and expertise in developing the Hall of Fame biographies you will hear this afternoon. He also helped in the promotion of this event through local outlets. When you have a moment, please check out Paul's website at middlesexcountysports.com. You will find daily updates to all things sports in Middlesex County. And thanks again, Paul, for a job well done. Each year, this event is successful not only by the work of all the volunteers, but also by the yearly support of past inductees. And at this time, I would kindly ask all past Hall of Fame inductees to please stand and be recognized. Come on, I know you're out there. Please stand, all of you past inductees. We thank you so much for attending today. As president of the Hall, I would like to personally congratulate today's individual inductees and teams. With your induction, you will join other athletes and teams that have distinguished themselves on the fields of athletic competition. An honor well-deserved by all of you. You were a star then, and you continue to be a star today. So sit back, enjoy it, and take it all in. It's a special time. For those of you who are attending this event for the first time, and for those of you returning, it is important to note that the objective of the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame and Museum is to continue to honor the rich tradition of Middletown sports by acknowledging the athletic accomplishments of individuals and teams alike. Preserving the legacy of our local athletes through an ongoing maintenance of the hall building and the memorabilia housed within is really no small task. We are a nonprofit, volunteer organization, and we invite you, if you have not already, to participate by becoming a life member. If you are so inclined to join with us, you can do so through the forms you will find at each of your tables. And at this time, I want to recognize, where's Sean? Sean Smith, where are you? There you are. Sean just became a life member, and he did so after the printing of the booklet. That's why you're not in the booklet. I'm just letting you know that. So thank you very much, Sean. Another way to support the Hall is through the advertising in our annual induction ceremony booklet as a patron, benefactor, gold, or platinum sponsor. Without the support of the individuals and businesses that are kind enough to take out ads in our booklet every year, we would not be able to provide each induction class with such a memorable ceremony. So please, whenever possible, patronize our wonderful sponsors. Every year, we are often asked how one can be considered for induction into the Hall. I ask you to please visit our website at middletownchallofFame.org to obtain the necessary information along with a ballot to submit a name for consideration. Each year, the individuals considered for induction come from nominations by the public at large and are not directly selected by the directors of the Hall of Fame. And lastly, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for your attendance this afternoon. Without your attendance, none of this would be remotely possible. Trust me when I tell you, it means an awful lot to the Hall of Fame and all of the individuals you see up here today and the teams that are being recognized. So following the ceremony, a buffet lunch and refreshments will be available for those of you who want to stick around, catch up with family, friends, and former teammates. So enjoy the program today, and thank you so very much.
Friends, we are blessed to welcome the #1 fan of sports here in the city of Middletown, the mayor of the city of Middletown, the Honorable Ben Florsheim. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Scott. It's great to be here as a fan, and it's such an honor for me to continue to be a part of this event over these past few years. And before I say anything further, I do want to acknowledge that another loss this year that I know is felt by many who are in this room, and that is the loss of Representative Q. Williams. I don't know if Q was any more athletic than I was when he was in high school, which is to say, not very. I've gotten much more of a fan since then. But I know that more than being proud of his electoral accomplishments or his legislative accomplishments, more even perhaps than being proud of being a member of Cross Street AME Zion Church, he was proud of being a Middletown Blue Dragon. That is a legacy that lives on in this room. Because he was proud of what that team spirit represented, and that's what is really gratifying about being here in this room. I understand this is the biggest crowd that we have had, a sold out event, and I am just so as a elected official in this city, and I look out and see Deputy Mayor Lafredo, and I'm sure that there are other council members and elected officials in the room. We have challenges ahead of us, and we have a lot of work to do, but we can do that better. We can do that more effectively with the team behind us that we see here today. And I was thinking this week about our Parks Department in the city of Middletown, who have two really specific challenges that have come up for them in the last few years. One is for a really positive reason, and that's that we have renovated almost all of our parks and athletic facilities in the city of Middletown over the last few years, thanks to the investment of the Middletown voters, Middletown taxpayers, thanks to the vision of council members past and present, mayors and leaders past and present who have seen the importance of the athletic community, the sports community to this city and to the team that makes it a great place. We made those investments, and now that means we have to maintain those investments. It means that our park staff, and not just them, but our coaches, our teams, our teachers, everybody who utilizes those fields and those facilities, we have a harder job to keep them well maintained, but we're going to make those investments to make sure that they stay what they are. The other thing that has become much more challenging is that it has become a lot more challenging to be a kid. To be a young person in the last few years. And I know that that probably gets said every generation, but the challenges that our young people face have never been greater, and that means that the challenges that those who are serving our young people have never been greater. And that's true of our city staff, it's true of our public safety officials and our police officers who are serving and standing up our new PAL program. It's true of the coaches, it's true of the assistant coaches, it's true of the teachers, it's true of everybody in this room. And it's something that needs to be acknowledged. It needs to be acknowledged that you are when sports used to be the diversion, right? And now you are up against diversions that are designed to keep people isolated, keep people inside, keep people away from one another. And this is the antidote to that, as we see from a packed full house on a rainy Sunday afternoon, and as we see on our amazing sports fields and athletic facilities every single day. So thank you very much for having me. I think that I'm one of the last things standing between everybody and lunch, so I'm going to say one more time thank you and congratulations to our outstanding honorees. It's a real honor. Looking forward to continuing to work with you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, thank you from all of us for joining us here today, and thank you for your continued support of sports at all levels here in the city of Middletown.
I just want to interject something right quick. Is it okay?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to interject something right quick. You may have noticed I've been running all over the place, but I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge two members of that track team. As you already heard earlier, Representative Q. Williams, who lived for Middletown. Wow. Also, Nicholas Tucci, who's from a long line of great athletes in the city of Middletown. Thank you so much for this, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. But as we move forward with the program, and I tell you, I'm in so much trouble. I hope all you guys are my friends because, hey, Coach, don't hold it against me. This is the first time anyone's ever spoken during the program, but I wouldn't sleep well at night if I didn't do that. So thank you guys. And now, once and for all, Representative Quentin Williams and Nicholas Tucci are forever Hall of Famers of the Middletown community.
Lorenzo, thank you. So now it's time to present to you the 2023 Middletown Sports Hall of Fame inductees. Join me in welcoming the inductees of one of the greatest women's sports here in Middletown, my dear friend, Ms. Deb Pietruzzello. We'll start with Tony Bostic.
Tony Bostic, congratulations on your induction into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame. Give us, since I was the one that contacted you, tell me a little bit what you shared with me when I told you you were being inducted.
Well, basically, we just started talking about the old days and, you know, the times on the football field. And obviously, thank you at the time, you know, for the honor, you know, of being inducted. And Dave, to be honest, you know, I think once we really started talking about all the time, you kind of remember those times. Yes. You know what I mean? You get caught up into their daily, and kind of forget about the little things. Yep. You know, so when you did make that call, it kind of brought back some of those good memories when you had, you know, you didn't have all the pressure of the dailies, and you know.
Funny, you picked up the phone. I said it's Dave Galito, and there was a little bit of a pause. It was like, Dave.
Yeah,
I
mean,
because
like
everything just came back, right?
Yeah.
So it's you know, we certainly shared some special times. There's no question about it. As I've been asking the athletes here, has there been a time in your career after you stopped playing actively where sports has impacted your life? Now.
No, every day. you know, because you just learn those lessons on the field or you know, when you compete, and they're lifetime lessons, you know, regarding being successful, having that respect for people, learning how to lose gracefully. You know, those are all things you take with you through life, basically. You know, dealing with disappointments, you know, the high level, you know, achievement type things. You know, so, you know, for me, you know, athletics definitely played a big role as far as molding me on what I believe in and how I conducted myself throughout my whole career, basically, you know, professionally and, you know, football-wise.
Yeah.
And trying to keep that balance.
Yes.
You know.
Absolutely. That's very important. Was there one moment in your career?
Mhm.
Now, obviously you played football,
Yeah.
basketball, track and field.
Mhm.
Was there one moment over the course of your career that really stood out as something special to you?
I mean, I have several,
Sure.
but I think that as far as football, because I got 'em, as you know, you have them on all levels. But as far as football, it was when I had that opportunity to, as a sign as a free agent with the Jets.
Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of, as you know, in football, that's your highest level.
That's right.
You know, so it was a good achievement. Obviously, it was something I was proud of at the time. You know, unfortunately, I injured my knee, so that kind of cut the whole career short.
It does happen.
But the fact that you had that opportunity to be there, experience things that some people in that, you know, in our sport never even experienced. So that was a good achievement as far as, you know, football and, you know, that high moment.
Would you say that was probably your favorite sport
Um,
out of the three? I mean, I know that you did very well in all three. But
football, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Football was definitely, you know, as far as playing, because football is more of a team sport.
Yeah.
You know, so you develop a lot of friendships more so because you're counting on each other, you know, for blocking and, you know, it's more of a team sport. Individuals, I mean, track to me was more of an individual sport. Obviously, you compete on relays and all that, but, you know, that was almost like you were kind of competing among yourself, really. See how much you can get out of yourself, how better you can get. And also, you know, encouraging obviously your teammates and pushing them in directions, you know, that's going to benefit the whole program.
No, absolutely. Well, another thing you could add to the list is your induction into the Hall of Fame. So congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Well said. I mean, it wasn't when I handed you the ball and you scored the winning. You know, we were down, obviously. We were supposed to win that
We were
game.
supposed to beat them big time that game, yeah.
And we were down on the goal line. We were probably 2 or 3 yards out, and you know, we had Kerry Marshall and Tony in the backfield along with John Roberts, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I remember Coach Montanil called a play, and we were supposed to send Tony over the 2-hole, which was on the right-hand side, but my brother, who was a junior at the time, came back to me and he says, he was left tackle, and I said, it was Nino Pizzuto, and he says, I can take him, run him over me. So in the huddle, I changed the play to have Tony run over the left tackle, and that's what he scored.
Yeah.
And then we threw for the 2-point conversion, and we won 16-15.
To win?
To win.
Yeah.
That's my story.
Yeah, no,
You're gonna stick to it.
No, but that,
No, because we're supposed to beat them bad that year. And, yeah, Jeff broke a collarbone the second play of the game.
Yeah.
And you got thrown into being the starting quarterback.
Yeah. Well, I was worried about my defense at that time, but congratulations.
You too.
We'll see.
Thank you.
We'll see you.
When Tony got the call informing him that he was being inducted into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame, it brought back many good and long forgotten memories. A 3-sport athlete at Woodrow Wilson, Tony excelled in all 3, football, basketball, and track and field. Schools throughout the Northwest Conference knew of his athletic prowess as he was selected on an all-star team and earned championship status in various sports in which he participated. Football was Tony's favorite sport. The memory of scoring off the changed play from a quarterback named Dave Galito helped the Wildcats defeat the Tigers is a fond memory. Yeah. We'll probably talk about that play in a little while. His talents were often displayed at the high school gridiron as a halfback, where he was a scholarship player at AIC, and was unable to make it to the pro level because of an unfortunate injury. But Tony said lifetime lessons he learned through sports helped him mold him. Hard work, a good work ethic, learning to lose gracefully, all lessons that prepared him for life and his work. He loved football and team sports because his teammates had to learn to rely on each other and to achieve success. The lessons Tony learned through sport and success have earned you a spot in the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Mr. Tony Bosnick.
One more? All set.
We welcome Ashley Etheridge.
Ashley Etheridge, congratulations on your induction into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Tell us your first impressions when you received word that you were being inducted.
I can't believe I beat my brother to this.
You always love some sibling rivalry. So
Yes.
good for you. But please continue to share.
Yeah. I knew that my mom she's working at Vinyl for a long time, and we've been part of this community for forever. And it was probably, I was telling my friends this recently, that one of the best times in my life was high school. And a lot to do with that had to be the basketball team and the atmosphere that Coes had with everyone. It just felt like a complete community, and even to this day, reaching out to anyone, they would drop everything and reach back out to us for, yeah.
It's always a community that you're always attached to forever.
Right.
And it's a special thing and bond that you have with your teammates. I completely understand that. Later in life, you leave athletic competition and you begin a career. How has athletics impacted your career in I would imagine, a positive way? How's it impacted it?
Everything. Even now, if I'm looking at resumes and I'm trying to employ people for my own team, the first thing I look at is, oh, did they play sports? You know that they're a team player. You know that they understand the different dynamics. You have to be able to overcome a lot of different situations, high intense situations. You have to be able to think on your feet and execute. Those make you the best kind of employee to work with. If you can understand those concepts, you grasp what makes you successful in the work world.
There's no question about that.
Yeah.
There is a direct correlation.
There's definitely a direct correlation.
Yeah, there is. You had such a great career. Is there one moment in your career that stands out as a special moment that you could share with us?
Sure. And it wasn't anything miraculous that happened. It was that my twin sister and I, we would constantly have this one play where I would see her in the court. She always knew to run to the left wing, get open as far as she could. I knew to toss it to her. It was just that twin instinct. And I knew to cut to the basket, and it was just a quick dish, serve, and lay it up kind of move. And every time we always had a twinkle in our eye, like, we know it's coming.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I would imagine also that now, as your induction looms into the Sports Hall of Fame, that will be something that will be a special moment in your life that you'll always remember. So congratulations once again.
Yes, thank you so much.
Ashley said her high school and basketball experience at Mercy High School were the best. Her coach, Tim Coes, and the team were really like family. She even got to play with her twin sister. They had a special play together that always seemed to work. This four-year starting guard was the leading scorer and rebounder for each season from 2001 through 2005. Ashley also owns the rebounding record to this day at Mercy. Truly impressive for Mercy basketball with the success that that program has had throughout the years. The honors she had earned were many. All-state status every year, honors from the New Haven Register and the Middletown Press, a scholarship to play at Providence University, and much more. As wild as the accomplishments are, Ashley understands the importance of sports in her life. When hiring people for jobs, the question she always asks is, do you play sports? That question demonstrates the impact sports have had on not only her life, and the things that could be learned through sports. Ashley's reaction to the notification of her being inducted today was one of surprise. She was surprised that she beat her brother into the Hall of Fame, because it's one heck of an athletic family. Let us congratulate Athleigh Estridge, and we welcome her as possibly the first family member into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame. Now it's truly my honor to welcome Tony.
Tony Franco, congratulations on your induction into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
When you received word that you were being inducted, share your thoughts on that.
Oh yeah, no, it was. I was really happy, obviously. You know, just to be amongst. I was just looking at the book, all the people who are in this hall right now from Middletown. It's just a great honor to be part of that. And I was coached by a lot of these Hall of Famers, starting with Larry McHugh and Tony Jascott and Rich Magner, Teddy Lombardo. The list goes on. I know Dave Darling, you know, was my Legion coach for a year. Fred Tremaglio was my Legion coach. So I guess I have no excuse. I was coached by great people, great coaches. So I was really excited.
That's great. How has your athletic career impacted your career in life? And after you stopped playing actively, how did sports impact that?
I mean, just the competitiveness was just something that was drilled into me at an early age, and yeah, it's part of life. Everything that I do now really goes back to, you know, when I was young and playing ball competitively, and you know, what I'm really proud of now is that I can give some back. You know, I'm still coaching at Xavier, and I've coached my kids in AAU, and I'm at Legion, and it's just, it's great. It's just been a great run, you know, to be around these people in this sport and these kids, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Is there, or was there one special moment that you could share with us that stood out as something special to you over your career?
Well, I mean, baseball was my number one sport. But I also played football, and you know, I was quarterback for Coach Jascott in his first year, and I'll never forget that season. It was just so much fun playing at Palmer, representing Xavier, but then of course, you know, being able to take baseball and play in college and play with a Hall of Famer, Jeff Bagwell. So, you know, it's just, I've been so fortunate, and, you know, I'm very grateful.
Well, one other thing that you could add to the list is your induction into the Hall. So congratulations on behalf of all of us here.
Thanks so much.
Tony Franco. Tony was a Xavier multi-sport athlete in the 1980s, competing as the quarterback in football, also with the swimming, and his deep passion for baseball. As a pitcher with the Falcons, he had one loss in his junior and senior year, batted an outstanding .423, earning him a scholarship to the University of Hartford, a Division I program. He played for Middletown post-75 Legion team and was a member of the Zone 3 championship team in 1985. Tony has helped both softball and baseball grow by organizing the Connecticut Outlaw youth teams. He's coaching because he enjoys and wants to give back. I do want to share with you some words from Coach Nick Soretta and all of your friends at Xavier High School. Since 2015, Tony has served as the assistant coach for the varsity baseball team at Xavier. Tony brings his competitive nature and passion for baseball to the field at Xavier every single day. He goes above and beyond to share his knowledge and passion for the game with every player in the program. Most importantly, Tony teaches Xavier players how to be men of great character, both on and off the team. Xavier High School could not ask for a more dedicated, knowledgeable, caring, compassionate, and understanding coach than Tony. Xavier baseball would not be where it is today without his guidance and the commitment he has to that program. Tony always has and always will bleed black and white. Tony Franco said he is excited to be part of the Hall of Fame amongst so many great athletes. He was coached by many who are now in the Hall of Fame, and it's no wonder he's joining them. Let us all please welcome Tony Franco to the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame.
All set?
Please welcome my good friend Deb Pizzarzello.
The next inductee is David Galito.
You know, my first reaction when I received word from my fellow directors that they wanted to induct me into the Hall of Fame, quite frankly, I was shocked about the whole thing. I've been in and around sports all my life, and working in the Hall of Fame is, and now as its president, is very special to me, but I had no idea that my name was submitted for induction. So I'm quite honored to accept this and to be inducted with a host of very great athletes into this hall. My when asked about how sports and athletics impact my life, I think it's very easy to say that as you go from team to team and as you meet your fellow players and you work with them, and building that team around a certain sport is very special. And you could take that on in your life, because no matter where you go or who you're working with, oftentimes you're working with a team and you need to be able to communicate to that team and you need to work toward one goal. So I think one thing that I've learned with athletics is to be able to work hard together with other people and to try to point them in the right direction, because athletics will do that. It gives you the drive and the perseverance to do well. And I think that's how athletics has impacted my life throughout my career. And I'd have to say the most special moment in my life was my senior year in football when we were playing Middletown High School. It was a year that Woodrow Wilson did very well. It was expected to win that game. But on the second play of the game, the starting quarterback, Jeff Gould, unfortunately broke his collarbone, and I was the backup quarterback. I started on as a safety. I was the defensive captain, and I was more in tune on what we were doing to try to stop the Tigers from beating us. But after the second series or second play, Coach Montneal said, "You're in as quarterback." And as the game progressed and so forth, it was back and forth. And at the end of the game, or toward the end of the game, we scored the touchdown that brought us to within 2 points, or 1 point of tying, and 2 points for the win. And the final offensive play for us that year was me being able to throw the 2-point conversion for the victory and winning 16-15. And I think that's probably the most special moment in my athletic career. But I will have to say that being inducted into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame and joining my father, Prof. Galito, probably supersedes that. He meant so much to me, and he was the one that guided me throughout my life and career in athletics. So winning that game and being inducted into the Hall of Fame with my father is very special.
Growing up around sports, David was a gym rat with his dad, Prof. Galito, which many of you people remember Prof. Galito? Yes. Yes. Not pressured to take part in athletics, the lessons learned by Dave through the sports he chose to participate in showed up in his dedication, his leadership skills, and his work ethic. Playing and lettering in football, basketball, and yes, golf, his play in the Wilson-Middletown football game was a highlight reel for a movie. With the starting quarterback injured and the Wildcats losing, Dave was called to be the quarterback. He scored a touchdown and completed a pass for the 2-point conversion to give the Wildcats a 1-point lead. Playing defense, he then made a midfield game-saving tackle. And as they say, the crowd went wild. At least the Wilson people did. How did Dave use his learned leadership skills? He petitioned for and started the golf program at Wilson, which became a varsity sport his senior year. He coached football, summer soccer, and assisted the high school soccer team. He actually coached his kids. He coached a select soccer team for several years, winning medals at the Nutmeg Games and a bronze medal at the National State Games. Dave was also instrumental in starting the popular Prof. Galito youth basketball program to honor his father. Many basketball athletes have participated in this popular program, which has contributed to the ongoing success of basketball in our town. David credits sport for giving him the opportunity to practice teamwork, working together towards a common goal, and team building, all life skills. He practiced these skills well because he is the president of this organization and president of Connecticut Realtors, representing over 20,000 realtors. Let us welcome President Dave Galito to the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame, where he is joining his father as a member. Ooh, I get to stand for the picture?
Yes, you do.
Am I again? Oh, you're good. Whew, I'm again. Jeff Gould.
So Jeff Gould, congratulations on your induction into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame. When I called you to let you know, what was your first thoughts that ran through your head?
Well, I thought it was special, but I was saddened.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, my mom's not here anymore, so it just made me sad because, you know, she was a motivator.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, but I was happy.
And I could say for more than just you too. She was motivator for a lot of us that
right.
that played, and she was quite the supporter. But you know, as I've been asking the athletes, oftentimes you draw on your athletic experience when you begin your career.
Yeah.
How has sports and athletics affected or impacted you in your career and jobs over the years?
I think friendship. You know, sports brought teams to, you know, that I miss that. Yeah. But, you know, as you have different jobs, you become teammates really to them people too. You know, every job that I've had, all of a sudden it's a team. You know, that's what I've learned. It's just, them guys turn special on me.
And you learn it when you're in high school or grammar school and high school and beyond, and that concept just follows you through
All the
life,
way.
doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it.
It does, and you consider yourself, you know, fortunate to be a part of a team.
Absolutely.
The individual accomplishments are great, there's no question about it, but there is something special about being a part of a team.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But,
Everywhere you go,
yeah,
like, you know, any job you have, it turns into a team thing where they're just, you're like your brothers or sisters.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Jeff, I know you were a multi-sport athlete in high school, but over your career, was there one special moment that stood out for you as an accomplishment that you were proud of or whatever in your career?
I think when I was a freshman, making the varsity in baseball.
Yeah.
I you know, because all of us tried out for baseball, all my friends, and actually made it. I thought that was very special.
As a pitcher, right?
As an outfielder.
Oh, didn't you pitch as
I
well?
did pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I made it as an outfielder.
You made it as an outfielder.
Yeah.
As a freshman. Well, that is quite an accomplishment in high school. But I'll tell you one other thing. Being inducted into the Hall of Fame is another accomplishment that you so rightly deserve. So congratulations.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
That's it.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, okay. Jeff Gould was a football and baseball standout at Woodrow Wilson in the mid-'70s. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm wearing my maroon and gray Wildcat. Can I get a whoop, whoop, whoop? Thank you. A natural leader, Jeff captained both the football and baseball teams as a Wildcat senior. Probably better if I do that.
Whatever you want to do.
His speed, power, and consistency at both sports served him well. Batting over .400 for both his senior and junior years, he would have had a few highlight reels for ESPN. If you ask him, his highlight memory was making the varsity team as a freshman. But to many people who saw him play, the highlight was the single that Jeff hit in the 13th inning to bring in the winning run to defeat Middletown High. He also batted .500 for Middlesex Community College in 2 seasons, again demonstrating his power and speed. What was important to Jeff during his athletic seasons was the friendships that were formed. Playing a team sport was like having another family, doing things together on and off the playing field and working together towards a common goal. Those things learned and practiced in sport also related to performing a job well done. Being inducted into the Hall of Fame is special to Jeff, but he wishes his mother, who is his motivator and best man, was here to celebrate this event with him. But that's okay. We all are here to help him celebrate and welcome him into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame.
There you go.
Woo!
Yes. Go ahead. It's fine.
Yeah, it's me. That's
John.
okay. All right, I'm still up. John Greco.
John Greco, congratulations on your induction into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame. Tell us your first thoughts when you received word that you were being inducted.
Why me? I thought it was just mainly for athletes. And of course, I ran track at Woodrow Wilson. but I wasn't really a star. I just was a pole vaulter. And then I got involved with the kids. I guess I have to give Fred Balsamo credit for that. He got me started over in the old part of town. They had a 2-car garage there, and when they closed the building down, they allowed us to have one of the garages to have a booster club building so we could serve at the football games. And Fred was the starter of that. We took the garage and we put a suspended ceiling in, and we were allowed to receive the gas stove that was in the old building, which we transported into the garage, and we had someone cut the side of the building off and put some sliding doors in so we could remove them during football games and feed the public. And that got me going. And
So let me ask you a question. I know you played sports, but did you get more satisfaction out of playing or afterwards when you helped all the kids?
I got satisfaction right along. I really enjoyed school, to be honest with you. I wasn't a top athlete, but I thought they were kind of the best years of my life. And I thought the kids had to go in that same direction. You know, we're put on this earth to teach. And the school is just another step forward for teaching the kids. You're born and you have kids and you teach your kids, and then you send them to school and they teach your kids. And then you get the booster club and they kind of teach the kids. So it all goes around to kids and parents. That's all I could tell you.
No, that's right. But and we thank you for sharing that. So on behalf of the Sports Hall of Fame, congratulations once again on your induction.
Well, thank you. I appreciate this. I miss being with the kids and a lot of good parents.
Well, you're being honored for that now.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
Setting up early for an event at the Woodrow Wilson football field on Hunting Hill Avenue, you had to pass by the Hut, the concession stand aptly named for John Greco. Where's John? Down here. John Greco. I'm looking the wrong way. An inductee here tonight. The smell of frying peppers greeted you, along with John's voice. Do you want a breakfast sandwich? John Greco did more than just cook. Fred Balsamo, who nominated John for this award, reminisced of how they worked together on that old blue garage, finding and moving a stove, putting in ceilings, while John, with his woodworking skills, built cabinets and other things to create Greco's Grill and start one of the more successful booster clubs, according to an article in the Hartford Courant. He led the booster club to the newer Middletown High, and the concession stand there is still called Greco's Grill. All this work was to raise money for the kids, the Wilson and Middletown athletes. People do not know the extent John impacted the sports programs at the public schools. If an athlete needed shoes or another piece of equipment, John was always there to assist. Money was raised for scholarships through sales of drinks at the Hut and in the schools. For a coach, the benevolence of someone like John helping a program is priceless. No one needed to know all that he did, and it was no surprise to see John and Tom DeQuilla, sitting in the stands supporting all sports from middle school to Legion levels. Serving and honoring our student athletes for decades, it is now time for us to honor one of our newest inductees into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame, John Greco. You're gonna anyway.
We would start off, we would sit down, and we would say, John, I hurt my back. He would say, when did you do that? I would say, a week back.
Thank you. So it's my honor to welcome into the hall Mr. John Hastings.
John Hastings, congratulations on your induction into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame.
Oh,
Give us your first impression when you received word.
This is my hometown. I didn't grow up here, but it's my hometown. And I always thought about it a little bit, but I never really thought that, it would happen. And, obviously I've been around here a long time, and I know lots of people that are here. Or if I don't know them, I know of them, or, whatever. So it's really very sweet for me to have this honor. And, yeah.
So Wesleyan University, you attended the school, and
Yep.
then you coached there as well too,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So tell us how being involved in athletics helped you later in life.
Okay. I started running when I was 14 or 15, and I always knew I could do it. I played baseball, I played basketball, I played football, but I always knew I was going to be a runner because I was good at it and I loved it. And it's been my main preoccupation, I guess. It's put me in touch with a lot of really incredible people, and of course I'm a teacher, so on top of that, I just love working with kids, and I'm still hanging out with Mercy. I'm not coaching, but I can't really leave.
That's great. When you look back on your career, both competitively and as a coach, is there one moment that sticks out as a special moment that you could share with us?
Wow, that's so hard. I guess this is what I want to tell you, though. This is before I was 15. I grew up in Fairfield County, and I ran down there. And the guys that's I was just a sophomore, said, look, there's a track meet. We ran a race on Saturday, but they said, oh, there's a track meet up in Middletown on tomorrow. So I said, all right. My dad drives me up, pull into Middletown. I don't know where Middletown is, but there's Route 66, about the same as it is now, except they fixed the railroad.
That's right.
But I go to this track meet. It was at Wesleyan because that was the best track they had in those days, and the place was filled with people. I mean, this is not the kind of thing they have these days, but I was so impressed. And there were also in that meet, I could name all these guys, and it was just guys. There were no women in those days, but some became world famous. Some were national class. I mean, it was, I suppose Bernie O'Rourke put this on. I gotta think that was him and his crew that did it. But it was absolutely first class. And later in the meet, I ran 3 miles. It was 95 degrees out. What was I thinking? But at some point I looked across Andrews Field, looked at the library, and I said, this is where I'm going to school. And it happened.
Yeah.
A lot of things don't happen.
So
like
it
that.
definitely had an impression on the rest of your life.
Yes.
Well, this does as well too. So congratulations on being inducted.
Yeah, thanks so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this.
You're welcome.
Very good.
That's it.
For some people, distance running is in their blood. This is true for John Hastings. From competing as an athlete at Greenwich High School to running and coaching at Wesleyan University, both cross-country, indoor, and outdoor track, to coaching at Mercy High School, both cross country and outdoor track, John has been involved in distance running for most of his life. His own best Boston Marathon time, 2 hours, 40.2 seconds, demonstrates his commitment and passion to the sport. An even-tempered and quiet man, this demeanor lent him well to his coaching skills. He was a calming force for his athletes and a good motivator. One coach described John as a teacher of skills and strategies with the ability to get the most from his players and teams. He believed in teamwork, working together, and supporting each other to achieve team goals. John's cross-country teams have experienced success, 2 second-place showings in state championships and a league championship at Mercy as well. John himself has been the assistant coach and head coach at Wesleyan and Mercy, again showing his passion for the sport and willingness to share and teach. We'd like to show our appreciation for his dedication to the sport, not only the city of Middletown, but welcome John Hastings to the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame.
Before I go to the next person, please read the bios in the programs, because that's not what we're talking about, and you can see how incredible these individuals are and what they have achieved. It's you know, almost makes you want to cry. I mean, they're so good. But anyway, let's move on. Whitney Holder.
Whitney Holder, congratulations on your induction into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame. What was your first impressions and thoughts when you received word?
Well, actually, I love that question. First impression was just disbelief, honestly. I think when you're going through the time as a kid, you don't think about the future, like, oh, what's this mean? I'm just here doing sports because I enjoy it, or I like hanging out with my teammates, thinking nothing of it. And then when I got to notice that I was in the Hall of Fame, I was like, why? Like, little old me, like, how is that possible? But when I actually sit and look back at the things that I've done, hindsight is 20/20, honestly. So it means everything to me. Yeah.
That's great. Sometimes it takes something like this for you to take a look back.
Yeah.
We get so involved with our day-to-day that we don't remember it. And sometimes you need to just check yourself and say, hey, you know, those were some special times. And you certainly did at Middletown High School, and I believe UConn in track and field. How did athletics help you or impact you after you stopped playing in your career?
Oh, in so many ways. How do I pick one? Honestly, I think confidence is the biggest one. You don't realize how much you're really in the spotlight when you're an athlete and competing. Whether it's because you're competing by yourself, you no longer have a team behind you. Once you get to a certain level, it's all on you. Learning how to step out of your comfort zone and being okay in that discomfort as well. I think that's the biggest thing. Once I accomplished that, I felt like I could do anything I really wanted to do after that. So
It's a great empowering feeling, isn't it?
yeah, honestly.
Over your career, you had many, many special moments, I'm sure. But is there one that sticks out that you could share with us?
Yeah, actually, I would say it's winning New England's my senior year. It's been a long time coming. I think I'd been going to New England's probably since sophomore year, always just missing winning, or something big happened that prevented me from getting that first place win. And having it be my senior year with my best record as well was just monumental for me. For me, that was the biggest moment, I think, of my career at high school.
You can add the induction into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame as another one. So
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that's what that was for. Oh. An intelligent, talented, coachable, and determined athlete, Whitney Holder could have excelled in any high school sport, but she chose soccer, indoor, and I'm so glad, outdoor track and field. Her mother, Renee, taught her daughters that they could do anything they put their minds to, and Whitney learned that lesson well. She was a standout in soccer, but set countless records in indoor and outdoor track, too numerous to mention. Relays, sprints, long jump, they have decathlon, which is 8 events done in 2 days. She was fun to watch and won state and New England championships, then ran at UConn and set records there as well. Wow. When asked of a standout memory, Whitney had to think. An indoor relay race where she made up an almost insurmountable lead to win the race was won. But her elation was for the joy seen on the faces of her teammates, not for her amazing achievement. Character. For her mother, it was watching her nearly jump out of the long jump pit in a New England meet in Maine, or scissor kicking, that's the old style, how you could high jump, scissor kicking over 5 feet in the high jump, an event she didn't compete in. Athletic. But for this athlete, the awards were great, but the friendships she made and the encouragement and mentoring she gave to others were her proud moments. Her fellow athletes, classmates, and fans looked up to her as she captained all her sports. Compassionate. When Whitney was little, if asked her name, she would reply, "I'm Whitney Houston." Her mom said she was named after that talented singer/actor. She may not have that global fame of Whitney Houston, but today, in our small world, she has the admiration and respect for her talent as that gracious lady had for hers. So let us welcome our Whitney Holder into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame.
Get in here. You were the coach.
Next inductee, Megan Nelson Keene.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Megan Keene. Megan Keene.
Yes.
Congratulations on your induction into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame. Tell me your first impression when you received word that you were being inducted.
I felt very honored. It's a special place to grow up, and a lot of very good teams and athletes have come from Middletown, so I feel like I'm among the greats, and that's a pretty nice feeling.
And what was your specialty?
Well, I played multiple sports, but softball was probably the standout sport, and so I did also play soccer and ran indoor track, and I would say that there were a number of coaches through the years that kind of pushed us all along in that respect. So yeah, Mr. Hiller, Miss P, and Cecil Hextall were 3 of the coaches who really were kind of, on board and pushing us all along.
So, oftentimes in your career later in life, people tend to look back over their athletic career and somehow apply what they experienced in athletics to your current life. Yeah. Can you share something like that with us and how
Sure.
it impacted you?
So I have 4 kids, and they all like to play sports, and so through the years I've coached them, but I've also gone ahead and coached other people's kids and not just my own. And I find that some of the things that I gained from the coaches that I had here were
highly applicable and helped me be a better coach. So I currently coach ski racing, and I like to get out there with the kids and share my passion with them. And I feel like that's what my coaches did for me here.
Yeah, it doesn't, it just happens that way.
Yes.
It passes from one person to the next. Of your storied career, can you share with us maybe, one moment that stood out for you as a special moment in your career?
Sure. In Middletown or?
Any part of your career.
Okay, so every spring we would go down for spring break to Virginia Beach, and we would take a huge bus through the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel system all the way down to Virginia Beach, and we would play games. But most of what happened on that trip was team bonding. And it's something that I think kept us, feeling like a family and always being there for each other, but also we felt really connected to our coaches. And we worked really hard for that brief period of time. We go out 6 a.m. runs on the beach, come back, have a pancake breakfast, and then head out and really get into the game. And I think that starting each season that way was really special, and it made us all connect really well and play well then.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And on behalf of the entire membership of the Sports Hall of Fame, congratulations once again on your induction.
Thank you. You too.
Megan Nelson Keene didn't just play sports at Middletown High, but excelled in them. Soccer, indoor track, and softball were sports of choice. But skiing was also a love, a sport she competed in college and coaches today. Her high school honors are numerous. 4-year starter in soccer, 3-time All-State in indoor track and field, and All-State in softball for 2 positions, catcher and shortstop, which is unheard of. Her softball stats, as you can read in your program, are truly impressive. Pee-wee, a nickname given her by coaches Hiller and Cecil Hextall, stuck throughout the years. As a senior captain, she sacrificed her position for the good of the team and earned all-state honors in her new position. I can still hear the coaches calling out during the softball games, "Great job, Pee-wee, great job." Her college sporting experience at Amherst was just as impressive. The honors kept coming through her steady and extraordinary play. She also was a 4-year ski racer, something she's coached for 11 years. How did Megan start her sports career? Because her cousin was playing softball in the city softball little league, she wanted to do the same, so her mother says. As for skiing, starting at 2 years of age at Killington, Vermont, her parents said, if you can walk, you can ski. And look at the results. As a coach, Megan remembers the team bonding and techniques used by different coaches and uses them today. Sportsmanship is important to her, and she realizes the importance of teamwork and the resulting friendships formed during game play. Still coaching and still playing softball, awards are still coming her way. It is time for another honor for Megan as we congratulate Megan Pee-wee Nelson Keene into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame. Our next inductee, Lorenzo Marshall Jr.
Lorenzo Marshall Jr., congratulations on your induction into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame. Give us your first impression when apparently your father must have let you know that you were being inducted. Let us know how you felt when you received that call from Dad.
I was ecstatic. I was ecstatic, just to be recognized amongst, tens of thousands of athletes You know, amongst this city with such historic schools and a rich culture of sports in this town, and just understanding what it meant to the town as well. So I was truly humbled, to be honest with you, to be mentioned amongst some of the people that have come before me. Obviously, a few of my family members, you know, as well. So yeah, no, I was overjoyed when he gave me the call.
That's great. That's great. Tell us how you think athletics and what you accomplished on the field has helped you later in life, in business and otherwise.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say starting off at a very young age, it just teaches you about teamwork, camaraderie. As I think about some of the people that I grew up with, or people that were just ahead of me, someone like a Greg White, who was, you know, a couple of years ahead of me, watching him playing from Pop Warner football all the way up through high school football. It's taught me that, you know, truly that there is no I in team. And then as you grow older, and some of those relationships that you have, you know, from kids and growing up through high school, college, whatever, you carry those throughout your entire life. And to be honest with you, relationships are the currency of your lifetime.
Absolutely. That's great. And last question. You've had a great career. Is there one moment that stuck out in your career as being something a little bit more special than the rest that you can share with us?
So I was thinking about that on the way here, and a lot of success, right? Especially at Middletown High, we won a lot more than we lost, whether it was basketball, football, track and field. We were known for being one of the top teams in the state. I would think the last game that I played in my football career at Middletown High, Xavier versus Middletown, huge game, thousands of people there. We ended up losing that game. Not my best moment on the offensive side of the ball. And, you know, I left that field freezing that day, went back to my grandmother's house. We had a big spread. I didn't really feel like eating that day. And a few weeks later, they actually played the game on the local station. And I got a chance to watch myself, you know, watch an entire game and seeing what I did on the other side of the ball, where I never really put much focus in the defense, but I probably had 25, 30 tackles that game. And at the time, it overshadowed, you know, some of the negative parts that I had, but just looking at it holistically, I left everything on the field.
Yeah.
And I really felt proud about that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you can feel proud about being inducted into the Hall, so congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Lorenzo Marshall Jr. was an outstanding four sport athlete from 97 to 2001. Football, basketball, track, and let's not forget golf in his senior year. Yeah. In basketball, he was the leading rebounder. In track and field, he was a member of the Class MM championship team that is also being honored today. But football was his love, as he continued to play in college and also played semi-pro football. One of his father's proudest moments was when Lorenzo Jr. wanted to move back to Middletown to play at the school his dad played for. How cool is that? Middletown High. He certainly made his mark on the field, starting on defense his sophomore year before playing both ways and making all-state for both his offensive and defensive athletic prowess his senior year. Let's not forget to mention the game where he had a 90-yard touchdown run and, after an interception, ran another 90 yards for a touchdown. Wow. Ooh, I'm tired. The victories versus Xavier on Thanksgiving Day were celebrated as he earned the Defensive MVP award. Playing football in college for 4 years, he also left his mark. Following that career, Boston was his home as he played semi-pro football for several years for 2 different teams and was the league leading rusher in 2007. As Lorenzo made his father and family proud, we are also proud of his accomplishments. Lorenzo Marshall Jr., Welcome to the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame, where you will join your father, Lorenzo Sr., and Uncle Al.
You want to come over here, honey? Let her through. Come here. Come here, sweetie. Come here. Come here.
The best of all. It's my honor to welcome into the hall Mr. Jeff Otterbein.
Okay, Jeff Otterbein, congratulations on your induction into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame. Give us your first impressions when you heard word that you were being inducted.
Well, I was surprised. I think I'm getting in, for sort of my newspaper career in sports, and I generally thought of it as athletes, but then I did think that there are other ways to contribute, and I hope that over the years the current brought some joy to families to read about their kids, and that's what we always tried to do. So.
Yeah, it's, you'll find there are plenty of people that have been inducted here that may have been athletes, but went on to do other things, whether
Right.
it's sports writing or sports broadcasting, or just, work with the kids in athletics in a
Right.
particular town. And we honor them all here.
Yeah.
And is there, obviously, as a sports writer, tell us a little bit about your journey as a sports writer.
Well, I have to say, and it doesn't happen all the time, but I knew since I was a little kid that I wanted to be a sports writer, and I got to live that dream. And I can remember going to the front door and getting the Hartford Courant and taking the sports section out first and just loving to read it. And Bill Lee wrote a column with malice toward none for ages and ages. And so that's what I pursued, and I ended up going to Northeastern University, and I got lucky there because they have a great co-op program. They place you out at a newspaper, and so I worked at the Patriot Ledger in Quincy, Mass, and so that kind of launched my career. And I was lucky I got back to the Hartford Courant, and then spent 27 years as a sports editor, 32 years there, and had phenomenal reporters and editors, because I always knew that I was only as good as they were, and they tremendously talented people, and we had a lot of fun together, worked hard, and I always thought if we could deliver a sports section to people that gave them some joy and entertainment, and maybe they learned something, that we provided a little time for them to enjoy something when the rest of the world sometimes makes it tough to enjoy things.
Was there one particular moment or award or recognition over your career that stands out for you as special?
Well, I would say that in the early 2000s, there are these awards, for best Sunday sports section, best daily sports section, best special section, and we won all three of those. It's called the Triple Crown, and we won it 4 out of 5 years, and we were honored a lot of times by our peer newspapers, and that felt really good. I mean, we were a big paper, but we weren't the biggest paper, and so I always thought that we played pretty hard and tried to do the best we could.
That's quite a recognition, 4 out of the 5 years. as is this, as your induction into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame. So congratulations on behalf of everyone.
Yeah, you know, I want to say one more thing.
Sure.
One more thing. You know, it does mean a lot to me because I was born in Middletown, and my family on both sides comes from Middletown. And one thing I think is great, it's going to be held at the Elks, and down in the room off the bar are the former exalted rulers, and one of them is my grandfather, Harold Santangelo, from, I believe it's in the 30s. And then my father, John Otterbein, in the 50s was an exalted ruler of the Elks. So I think it's just kind of neat that, you know, that we're doing it there, which is, they'll be with me in a way. And that's, it's a, you know, it's a great spot in Middletown, the Elks. So I thank everybody.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
As a sports enthusiast, we all know the importance of sports publicity to athletes, schools, and fans. The type of media have expanded, but sports reporting is still an important part of our lives. As a youngster, Jeff always wanted to be a journalist, more specifically a sports writer. He loved reading the sports section of the Hartford Courant. How exciting it must have been when his childhood dreams became a reality when he joined the Hartford Courant staff and later became a sports editor for a paper he read as a youngster. A Portland native, Jeff attended Xavier and attended college at Northeastern before started his sports journalism career. Under Jeff's watch, the Hartford Courant sports page won numerous awards, winning the best sports section 3 years in a row. He advocated for the coverage of women's basketball and girls' high school sports. Miraculously, it happened. The circulation of the Courant sports section was among the best in the nation between the 1980s and the 1990s. When told of his induction into the city's Sports Hall of Fame, Jeff was surprised. The organization's goal is to honor outstanding athletes and other sports-minded individuals and to preserve the deep and rich history of sports in the life of the city of Middletown. Through the coverage of athletics, Jeff has helped us read about many of our athletes, many of our heroes, which has allowed us to preserve this history. In the Elks room, there's a picture of Jeff's father and grandfather as they were associated with the Elks. Jeff thought it was fitting that he would be honored here as he would be with them. And we are as well, as we welcome Jeff Otterbein into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame. We are honored to welcome into the Hall of Fame Mr. Sean Smith.
Sean Smith, congratulations on your induction into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame. Tell the viewers your initial thoughts when you received the word.
Well, my first thought was, I can't believe it. I feel incredibly blessed, very fortunate, and I feel, having played football, like it's a team sport, and I really couldn't have made it without so many people who were mentors, were coaches, or were teammates, and I just felt extremely humbled to be recognized among so many wonderful athletes in the Middletown area, and very blessed.
Is there oftentimes in later in life and as you work through your career, you look back on your days on the athletic fields, and sometimes you tap into some of the things that maybe you learned back then. How has that played a part now in your life?
I mean, every day I take a lesson that I learned on the field or on the court in my own life, whether it's coaching my two wonderful daughters play sports, teaching them the values of of hard work, a positive attitude, being a good teammate, putting the team and others before your own personal goals, but also giving back and doing what it takes. Might not be especially in terms of practices, might not be the most fun, but it ultimately will get you success in the games. And it's the same, if you work hard, good things happen. And doing the right thing both on and off the field. I was fortunate enough to have two wonderful parents who instilled a great work ethic and a strong moral fiber in me, but also a wonderful coach Coach Bob McNamara in high school, who was always very passionate about us doing the right thing on and off the field. So I carry those lessons with me today, both in my practice and also in coaching my daughters.
That's great. Is there one moment in your athletic career that stands out as something special you can share with us?
That's a good question. I would say
You probably had many, but is there one that stood out?
I would say that overall, playing football and being able to build up and being one of the inaugural classes and players on the Vinyl Coggins football team, overall was just a tremendous honor to play with such wonderful players with such a wonderful coaching staff and coach. But I would say if there was one moment that stood out, would be my senior year. We played against Rocky Hill, and it was I played running back, and it was a tremendous game back and forth where each team was scoring, and it really came down to the last team with the last possession, and ultimately we didn't come out on top, but we as a team left everything on the field, and it was a wonderful experience, because one of the things that I've taken away from playing my playing career was that ultimately wins and losses don't matter as much as the relationships and the teammates, your teammates, and those relationships going forward, and the memories that you have. The wins and losses come and go, but the lessons you learn and the hard work you put in, it certainly lasts a lifetime.
Well, and I would venture to say that your induction into the Hall of Fame will be something that you'll always remember. So congratulations once again.
Well, thank you so much, and congratulations to you as well.
Sean was on the first varsity Vinyl Tech and Coggins combined football team and the first player to rush for over 1,000 yards. His hard work and competitiveness made him a 3-year starter and a 2-year captain at the beginning of the Vinyl Tech football program. He was an example for all future players to emulate. In his senior year, he rushed for 100 yards 6 times, in one game rushing for 245 yards. Sean credits this honor to his teammates and coaches, especially Coach McNamara. Coach McNamara used football to teach morals and values as it related to the game and to life. Every day, Sean used those lessons he learned and those values: team before self, hard work equals success, and much more. His parents also showed and taught him a very good work ethic. One of Sean's memories was a loss to Rocky Hill. In that game, he learned that wins and losses are not really everything, but it's the journey and the hard work it takes to get there. These things combined to make him the most valuable player all could look up to for his talent, hard work, and competitiveness. Today, we are proud to honor Sean Smith and welcome him into the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame.
Our last inductee, and kind of special for me, is John Waz.
Okay, We have the family of John Waz here.
Yes.
And I want to get your first impressions when you received word that your father was being inducted in the Hall of Fame. Linda, why don't you go first?
That's Linda.
I'm
So-
Linda,
Yeah,
and I did get the letter first before my sisters, so I started welling up, of course, and a little teary because it was such a nice honor to have him be thought of so many years ago. So I called my sisters. I'm like, you're not going to believe this. They're going to honor our father. So exciting. I talked to Deb and I said, can my other sisters come too? And she's like, I think they're on the list too. So I was happy about that. And we're just really honored to be here.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful
Kathy?
thing. So we knew Daddy was a great man. We felt his presence, and we knew that, he used to talk about his football days. And Coach Collins came to his funeral, which melted our hearts. But now to know that this was such a big deal, he wanted a son, let's face it. And we kept coming, our girls kept coming. They even went for number 3 to see if they could get their son, to see if we could get some football out there for another Waz family. So again, we have different last names now, and the fact that Ed Wilcox found us from his obituary is a beautiful thing, and what an honor this is. We are blessed.
Sharon?
And as soon as we got the letter, we were all digging through attics looking for pictures. I'm gonna actually cry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It was just a beautiful honor, and we found his old football jersey. I mean, it was just a really, really nice experience.
And there's a blood stain still on it.
Yeah, so it was really good. He actually coached me. I was more of the sporty girl of the 3, and he was always there encouraging me, and so he did get his son, but not in the right form. Yeah, the pseudo son. Yeah. But it was really wonderful. He was a wonderful coach too.
Well, that's great. And I will say this, on behalf of the hall, we appreciate you being here to represent your father. It's an honor that all of you can take part in. And we want to congratulate.
You know who nominated him? And we're just
I think it was Ed brings people forward who have not with us anymore. He does the research and brings it to the
He
hall.
stopped me on the way in here, and I said we would love to talk to you after. Yeah.
So he would get the thank you, but I just want to congratulate all of you
Thank
on
you.
it and enjoy the day.
Yeah,
we
can
Thank
too.
you.
We're
We got our
excited
tissues
about
ready
it.
though.
Yeah, I'm already starting.
There you go.
Thank you so much. I know, this is wonderful.
And we had Galitos across the street from us on Arbutus Street, which we believe.
That's my cousin.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
Billy and Diane.
Diane and Bill are my cousins.
Yes, yeah.
And we lived around the corner on Maple Shade Road.
Oh.
And now I live on Kelsey Street. So it's,
You didn't go far, yeah.
You didn't go too far.
No, we didn't go far either. I'm in Portland.
We're all set.
Yeah, yeah. So.
Okay.
We are recognizing him posthumously. But Ed Wilcox, with his investigative nature, thank you. I was at a loss of words, found his 3 daughters. I'd like them to stand up, please. And they are here to represent their father. And I was screaming over there, so if you thought I was hurt or something, I just had met them and I was just screaming. I was just so hysterical. But anyway, let's go on. Let's talk about John Waz. A Woodrow Wilson, again, my maroon and gray, football star in the mid-1940s, John Waz was the first Wilson athlete to be named to the 1948 New Haven Register All-State team. In newspaper articles, the speedy 6'2", 196-pound defensive end was described as a great defensive player. And although he played on a Class B team, which is classified by size of the school, it was said that he could play for any of the state Class A school teams in the state. And this man was good. Ed Collins, who's John's coach, said that he was a hard man to circle or trap, and very little yardage was made around his flank. His height and speed made him an excellent pass rusher and an excellent blocker on offense, as well as a dangerous tight end. The team he captained went undefeated and had outstanding statistics. You don't need to know football vocabulary to understand that John was a great player and led his team to great victories. John's 3 daughters, Kathy, Sharon, and Linda, remembered their dad as a tall, handsome, charismatic person. Thank you, ladies, for finding saved newspaper articles and his old jersey, number 36, which Kathy said probably still had bloodstains on it from his football banners. When Coach Collins attended his funeral, they were impressed and honored. His character, personality, and charisma, which aided him in sports, also made him a great salesman and apparently a great dad. Please welcome Kathy as she accepts this honor for her father, John Laws, as one of our newest members to the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame.
Congratulations.
Whoop, whoop.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to present to you the 2023 induction class for the Middletown Sports Hall of Fame. I ask that you all please remain standing and welcome back the Reverend William D. Wilson for today's closing benediction.
Reverend Will, can I take a second right quick before you start? Ladies and gentlemen, after benediction, please remain seating for the serving. They will be calling us by tables, so once your table number is called, then you can proceed and get your meal. Thank you.
Let us each pray in our own faith tradition. Oh God, we thank you for what our eyes have seen, what our ears have heard, and what our hearts have received. We ask now that you continue to bless all of us as we leave this place. We thank you for all of the inductees and the celebration that you have granted unto us today. And now may the Lord bless us and keep us. The Lord make his face to shine upon us. The Lord be gracious unto us and lift up his countenance upon us and give us peace. May we now go in peace. Amen.
Amen.